Now we're live. Whoa.
We are live.
You ever catch up with We're Live yet?
No, I still need to. It's one of those things that ugh, only so much time in the day, and while I still have a lot of fond memories, I started getting the fiance to listen to We're Alive, and man, I forgot how while I still enjoy the original We're Alive series, I forgot how rough the first season really actually was.
Yeah. Um,
like there's just so much in it that I'm like, whew, all right, this is
you should
not
get
cool
into the
anymore.
new one. Descendants is really good, dude.
How many episodes is it so far?
It just started the second half of its first season.
Gotcha. All right. Once it's all done, I'll go through it and binge it.
Because you got through lockdown. Did you get through Gold Rush?
Yes.
Okay, so you're on Descendants if you would start.
Gotcha.
It's really good. It's really good. It's a sequel story.
Okay. All right. I'm intrigued.
All right. Let's do this.
Hell
Was
yeah.
there before I start? Is there anything big news wise you want to talk about? Because I kind of have a couple, but not
Uh,
really.
there's a couple things that in general I just want to quickly touch on. One about SMT, one about D&D, and that's just it. Real quick things. Not a whole lot to go into detail wise, but just a quick. Hey, this is a thing.
All right, let's do this. Welcome to the Blue Rubies Podcast, episode 192. I'm
Hell
Adrian.
yeah.
David's here. Gore's dead finally. He kicked the
It's
bucket.
finally happened. I have ended him. He's gonna lie about it when he gets resurrected and we find those Dragon Balls to bring him back. But I have finally hunted the man down and ended him. I gave
David
him my COVID.
David didn't actually have COVID. He was just driving over to kill Gore. So here's the cameras were off, blood everywhere, and let's just say his copy of Roller Rose is no longer his copy of Roller Rose.
True. Now it's rule of fucking
34.
9/10 of the law of possession.
So all those videos you see that Gore's posting, it was all scheduled posts. He's got like an extra month of like scheduled posts, and then when they stop, sorry.
Oh man, I went ahead and I looked. He's got fucking 3 years worth of scheduled posts.
It's weird how he
They
made
won't know
videos.
for a while.
Yeah, I don't know how he's reacting to videos that came out like the other day, but like I don't know, just that's the way Gore works.
Little do we realize he has the hookups. He knows who to go to
Mhm.
actually see things in production.
Yeah, he got the video from Sunny V2 before he uploaded. It's kind of like an agreement they got. It's interesting. Anyway, this is the first time that we're gonna go through because we started late once, but now Gore's is not on. So
Oh yeah.
this will be kind of a quick one. I'm still like, I hate when I get like big cough fits because it fucks up my lungs for a while, and I'm like not sick, but I'm still recovering from a cough that I'm trying to not overly talk with. So we'll wrap this up, but not too long. But we'll get this going. Let's just jump into it. David, what'd you get?
Hell yeah.
Besides
I got a
catching
few
COVID,
things. I got COVID.
what's up, Najitech bro?
What?
Chat saying what's up.
Oh hell yeah. I thought you said something about a Logitech, and I was really confused for a second there.
You got Logitech. We got sponsorship.
Hell yeah. So picked these up because they were only a couple bucks. Got a copy of Virtua Fighter on Saturn. Got Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner, the original. This I picked up ages ago, and it just finally came in. For whatever reason, this game was brand new. I got it pre-order, and it was only $12. So $12 for a Switch game, and apparently it came with a soundtrack as well, which is kind of neat. So $6 per item. It's called Return to Shiro Nagasu Island. Visual novel kind of game. Looks like it's pretty heavy on the horror. I'm intrigued. Again, I got it way back when just because it was a brand new fucking Switch game for $12. Why not? Speaking of games I ordered ages ago, finally this came in from I think Strictly Limited. Warhammer 40k Shooters, Blood and Teeth. It's basically Warhammer 40k done in the Metal Slug style. So I'm really excited to go through this. I love me 40k, love me Metal Slug. And lastly, played through. I got this from that eBay seller we talk about occasionally. So I got that one for like $30. Played through that. Be talking about that when we go in our games played section. But yeah, so got that. Oh, also not video game related, but the fiance got this for me for the birthday. A buddy of ours for a board game night brought over this, and so she had to get me a bunch of these. Picked up
Super
Super
Fight,
Fight
hell
and a bunch
yeah,
of the
great game.
expansions.
Are you guys really good at
Absolutely phenomenal
improv?
game. Yes, and we're
Okay.
really good at arguing with each
Have
other.
you
so.
heard of the game? Oh, what the fuck? Why am I blanking on it? I'm gonna hold on. I gotta look. Give me a second.
Oh, yeah, I love you too, at Backy. Especially Gore. He was super kind and said nice things. I heard that about the shivering death thing. Sadly, wasn't entirely wrong. I had a couple days that I was shivering cold from it. But it's one of those things that, COVID happens. That's just the price you pay
Really
to go
quick
see
before I even say this,
Evangelion in theater.
Najitech Pro says I'm watching this stream on my Steam Deck from Valve. Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Awesome stream. Also a huge fan. Appreciate you. Back in there with the giving talks to Big Dave. Cora was super kind. He was very, very sweet to David.
And no, at Backy, still testing positive right now. I'm still symptomatic. It's just I'm finally at a much more manageable level.
Can almost taste stuff. He's like mostly there. Not really, actually, not mostly. You're mildly there.
Visit at Backy. I killed him. I did visit him for good.
Visit him in hell.
Hell yeah.
Have you ever heard of Pitch Storm?
No, I saw that in the recommended for Amazon when I was looking at more expansions for Super Fight, though.
Okay, so this, let's see, I didn't get my instructions back. I left it for someone, but it's fine. I know the instructions. So it's very Cards Against Humanity-esque. Really only do this if you guys are really good at improv. You have to be good at improv, otherwise it's very stressful. So there's 3 decks. Oh no, there's my instruction on the bottom. Getting 6 decks, also Agent of 6, right? Yeah, I had like a flu though. I've still not caught COVID, but I had a flu, and whenever the flu gives me the coughs, I just cough all night, and it messes up my lungs for a while. So I'm got the residual just sore throat cough. So it gives you 3 decks: character, plot, and then note cards. So there are these. So how it goes: there's a judge. Judge gets 3 note cards. There's character and plot decks. You could pick 3 plot, 3 character, doesn't matter. But just pick whichever one you want, and then you flip the opposite card. So let's say you're playing, and you pick whatever you think is easier to make, because you got to create a 60-second movie pitch.
Yeah.
Now, whatever you want first. Do you want character? Or do you want plot? Let's draw one. So which one do you want?
Character.
Okay, so you're wanting to think I do better with characters. You would draw 3, pick one of them, and then you would go with that, and then you flip the top of the opposite deck. So let's say this one, you say your character is a priest suffering a crisis of faith, and it's inside of a confessional booth. Now, your other one, let's see, that's what the top card in the plot. The plot is on a quest to discover Atlantis. So now you have a couple seconds. Think of your movie pitch, and then you got to talk it to the judge, and the best one wins. Now, no cards are where this game gets a little interesting. No cards. You get 3. So usually you're only allowed 3. So you can either use, if you have enough people, you could use them for everyone, or you got to save them. And that's kind of the fun of the game, is you make the person anticipate you're going to use them, but you don't use them. What no cards are there extra scenarios that you force into someone's pitch at any point in the pitch. So if a 6-second pitch, I could drop in this card right away and stop you and make you incorporate at the beginning, in the middle. I can make you at the last 10 seconds incorporate this card. Doesn't matter when, but you interrupt them and do that. So let's say you had that confessional with the priest suffering crisis of faith on a quest to discover Atlantis. And then let's say, so I would stop you going through your pitch. I'm like, hey, David, yeah, that's cool and all, but add a love interest and have them die. We want this to win an Oscar. So now you got to on the whim. You got
that sounds really fun.
It's really fun. I brought it for the drama kids to learn how to do pitches and like really think improvisationally.
It reminds me a lot of Snake Oil. Have you played that one?
No.
It's basically a similar concept, except you're trying to improv product ideas based on the cards you get.
Oh, so it's kind of those new games in Jackbox where you gotta like. I remember you gotta talk about a pitch for something and you gotta make everyone buy it.
Yeah.
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 Super fucking fun though. So if you have a good team, it really depends on the improv though, because that stresses people out having to think of stuff and speak for a solid minute, then think of new things. But if you got a good crew, that game's really good.
Yeah, my usual D&D group loves shit like that. So
Yeah, whenever I go back
that.
out there, I'll have to get one of those like nice board game bags and bring a couple of them. Let's see. All right, was that it, David?
Yeah, that's it for what I got.
Hell yeah. All I got is Tactics Ogre Reborn. It was on sale at GameStop. They had a little extra bit of sale on there on top of there, so I got it for pretty cheap. I've been buying a little bit in the Steam sale. I've been hitting up that Epic Game Store a little bit for that. Nothing too big. I did get Sports Stories dropped this morning. That was cool. Shadow dropped this morning. So grab that as well.
Dropped today?
Yeah. So grab that. All right. That's not what you played though. Dave, what'd you play?
Hell yeah, I've been playing a lot here. So I played a little bit of Ready or Not right before I got the COVID stuff. They did a big brand new AI and a bunch of other stuff update.
Let's play before I go back, because dude, this to not put it lightly, do you know how comps work for the grad programs of school?
No.
So it's essentially the final of the whole program, which you get to pick 2 instructors on top of your advisor. They give you either 3 or 4 questions total. So 1 from each teacher. Then the advisor gives you either 2 or 1, depending on which one you want. You either 2 smaller questions or 1 big question. Then you got to go in for 4 hours. You got to write 3 essays on each of them. You got to have all your citations, about 8 to 10 citations per essay. So you got to memorize the author, memorize the quote, and you can't bring anything in.
Jesus.
And that's the final. So I do that in March. So between having to do all the regular teaching stuff, I got all that. So like come middle of January, I am once again on lockdown. But then once May hits, it's done. But yeah, so hit me up.
Yeah, we'll find some time for us to play that.
Before New Year's, hit me up and let's play something, because I really want. I've been like craving Ready or Not lately. I don't know why. But
oh yeah, the new AI is fucking ridiculous. If they'll actually go ahead and holy fuck, we had this one situation where I think it was on the nightclub level, where the enemy had planted bombs on some of the club goers.
Okay.
And they were actually really smart about using them as human shields and trying to hide and duck behind them now. And the AI has gotten a lot better about whenever they start to get hit, just immediately dropping, so that way you'll think you got them in the middle of a big firefight, and then just getting right back up, grabbing their weapons, and shooting you from behind.
Yeah, so we got to double tap them, right?
Yeah, exactly. Fuck. Well, especially in the Valley of the Dolls, always fucking double tap on that level.
I remember that fucked us up once, I think. Someone didn't double tap someone, and the motherfucker got up. Yeah, that game is really good when you got the crew that knows how to play though, and like is willing to like communicate but also be silly when time needs to be, you know. It's it's one of my favorite games, I'd say, like co-op wise. I love the like extremely it's like I like the tactical games like Siege. It's fun too, but like it's a little bit too sweaty.
Yeah.
Because you're against other people. But Ready or Not's just as tactical, but being against AI, it's not as raid inducing.
And the mod support that they've added into it has been phenomenal. We played with a bunch of mods last time too, just tinker with them. There's one group of individuals right now that are going through and working on a SWAT 4 massive import. So they're bringing over all the SWAT 4 maps into Ready or Not. They have a couple of them in there right now. They have the Red Library, which is one of the more well-known maps of that game. And I think they have the hospital one that they're working on putting in right now. and absolutely fantastic what they've done with those.
Is it?
The only thing that is a little bit weird is you have to make sure if you're playing with people, you all have the same exact mods installed.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it won't let you synchronize.
How close is it to final release?
Oh, it's gonna be a ways off. I know the school level is gonna be like one of the next ones they release.
Damn, I thought that
And
was
then
out already because they were talking shit about that like a year ago, I think.
no, that one has been going back and forth because they've been trying to get the AI into a better state. And with this last update, that was what they kind of finally finished doing the big push on was the AI. And it's
Mm,
fucking night and day difference. It's absolutely fantastic.
okay.
But
Yeah, so
they've also
let's
added in a lot more modifications to the levels. So some levels that were night are now day. Some levels that were day are now night, which really changes up the dynamic a lot on some of those levels.
yeah. Um God, it's so good.
But yeah, so played some of that. Really, still phenomenal game. If anyone likes tactical, and I mean like fucking tactical shooters, where it really is kind of sit, plot out your kind of course, and go. Especially if you like playing with a group of friends, highly recommend it. Fantastic game. Let's see what else. Just about done going through Persona 5 Royal again with the fiance there. I just finished up the last palace, so I'm basically waiting for the big Mementos push.
God, I want to play a
So
game again. I don't have 100 hours to spare for it though. I'd rather get other stuff done, but
it was
every
a
time I think
nightmare
about it,
because it's been a mixed bag because like I've wanted to just instinctually do another 100% run, but partway through that I'm like I don't have a need to get this trophy 100%ed for a third time, so let me just fucking play. And it's been weirdly freeing not worrying about 100%ing it. It's
yeah.
cut my playtime by like 30 hours so far.
Yeah. Oh, that ending is that's the thing no one gets, especially like Gore's not gonna get it.
Yeah.
I think Royal benefits so much from vanilla. Like that first ending, it felt good. I liked it, but like it was missing something. There was like there's something just missing, and then they just knew the ending to put in Royal, and they really just knew it was a perfect epilogue for literally every character, and it makes you appreciate that much more your second run through when you know about the character.
100%. Royal really is the definitive way to play it. You know, there's so many things in five that I thought were good, but definitely were like problematic. Like that one scene I mentioned that I always still hate, and the fiance thankfully backed me up and hated it too when it first happened because she was like, "Wait, why does he understand that?" It's like, "Yep, you get my frustration." But Royal at least added a lot of stuff where it complements, and especially with those extra scenes they added in really goes to show the characters like actively thinking and doing stuff about that, which I liked. I still hate the final reveal after the credits because I
Yeah,
feel like it pulls the plug on something that was a very poignant endpoint for a character, and I feel like it's just like, oh, let's have the super happy ending. I'm like, fuck you, I don't want the super happy ending. Fuck off with
I
that.
want to say that it was open to interpretation enough that it could just be him thinking. Because I mean, the ending for because it was Strikers is a sequel to Vanilla, or no, it's
Yeah,
kind of Royal. You
Strikers
mentioned
is
it was weird, but yeah.
yeah,
Um,
because there's nothing in Royal directly mentioned in Strikers. So as far as Strikers is concerned, Royal didn't happen.
which is kind of lame, but
It makes sense from the concept that it was two different teams working on
yeah,
them at the same time. But it is dumb because especially for Violet, there's so many scenes that happen in Strikers where I'm like, oh, they could call upon their knowledge that happened with that. It's like, oh, never mind. Guess we pretend that didn't happen for any of
right.
that. So, but
Um,
I still recommend. I know you're not a fan of the Dynasty War style, but I
no, I'll play it
really do hope at some
eventually.
point. Yeah,
Eventually, I'm gonna
because
play it.
100% Wolf is my favorite fucking goddamn Persona 5 character now. Straight up, I fucking love Wolf. And it really is just such a great epilogue to the journey of those characters in so
Sure.
many ways. It's just, let's take these characters, let's give them basically the buddy road trip movie experience, and it's fantastic. I really adored Strikers.
Yeah, and I'll play it eventually. I'm probably just gonna go through and watch a long like cutscene rewatch of Royal again. But
Yeah,
yeah, no, I just I'll never convince anyone to do it. But I think Persona 5 Royal becomes a better game after you play Persona 5 Vanilla. But I would never tell
agreed.
anyone to, because like
No, no, no.
you're telling someone to play the
And,
same game essentially, right? For a lot of it,
and
even multiple times.
especially
But
considering even gameplay mechanic changes that happen, there's so much where it's like, oh, this is a lifesaver. Fucking Skull's level 7 ability where
maybe you
you
just
can
tell
insta
someone to
kill.
knock up the real ending because you can
Yeah,
do that. But I don't know. Either way, I think knowing everyone and going back a second time and then really getting that because man, yeah, that whole part where spoilers, but like the whole part where like you're just um really diving into what they want and how much
yeah.
they
When you're visiting everyone in
want.
their rooms.
Yeah, you really
Yeah.
want everyone to have that, and then the whole reveal with the Joker and what he wanted, and you're just like, God damn! And then that final that ending where the ending cutscene where everyone's working together, I'm like, this is it, this is it, this is the
It's
one.
fucking great. It was also great to have, especially for someone that liked Persona, before the modern Persona. It was great to have a lot more of the kind of Eldritch stuff in there, and Call of Cthulhu having the final boss be the King in Yellow. Well, technically not the final boss, but still the main bad of it all. I really liked having that concept for it. There's just fucking A Royal is just such a it hits different. It really does. It's I don't know how to state it without going into the details of why, but truly, if anyone likes RPGs, I can't recommend Royal enough. It's just such a phenomenal
If
journey.
anyone's willing to sacrifice 200 hours of their life, play Royal, get the non-Royal ending, run it back because you'll probably want to. Like I know when I beat Persona 5, I always wanted
Or
to play it
fuck it,
again.
just go ahead and put a save file right before you get that ending, and then
No, but I think
because
that's what I'm
there's
saying.
one decision you make that sets you on the royal ending path, and
Right,
it happens in December,
right.
so it's
What
not
I'm
that
saying is
far
like
before the regular ending.
digesting everything though is what I'm saying. Like when you digest
Mhm.
everything and you want to go back, because that's happened with Vanilla too. Though Vanilla, I was like, I really want to play it again. Like every time I play Persona 5, I'm like, I want to play it again. Um, which is weird. Like I love other games like Red Dead, I love, but I was like, not until like recently have I been wanting to play it again. Like right after I get run credits, I'm like, I really want to start another one. Um, and I'll never convince anyone. But if you was anyone ever just puts full trust into me and just believes in me, play through, get the vanilla ending, maybe sit on it for a week, come back and run it with the knowledge that you know, and then get the royal ending. It just hits a lot harder, I think, because you don't really get the satisfaction of it, I think with the first time royal. Like it's great, but knowing those characters as well as you do, and
Yeah,
then really understanding that, oh, this is what was on your mind the entire time. You know, that's the whole difference, I think, in it. Um,
agreed.
and who knows? Maybe now that we got 3, 4, and 5 out, maybe those do well enough that Alice is like, maybe we put the first two out. Maybe.
I mean, I still find it weird that it's Persona 3 portable. I get it because they do want female protagonists to be represented, but it's also weird because Persona 3 portable is honestly a much inferior game to FES. Uh, they basically turned anything that wasn't the combat segments into a visual novel. So instead of actually like going places and really talking and interacting with, you're kind of just like point and click. Yep, want to go here, talk to this person, and then that just plays out automatically. I don't know. It's a much more reduced game. The only thing that is nice about Persona 3 Portable is the fact that you can control your party members. Because in base Persona 3 and FES, you have no control of your party members at all,
Yeah.
which
So
is dumb.
is it warranted to play through? Because I'm gonna play portable just because it's available. But
Ah, I honestly feel like the best experience for Persona 3 is FES. So I think what I would recommend is if you're comfortable with emulation, just
I
go
think I have it.
ahead get. I mean, if you have it, then fuck it. Just go ahead and play it on your PS2. But I'd almost recommend it if you have either a modded PS2 or on emulation, just because then you can play with a fan patch that gives you control of your party, and then from there you have the best experience. Because then you get the full experience of playing Persona, traveling around,
Got
doing
that
all
nice
the
and
day to
sealed
days.
still.
Yeah, there you go. Hell yeah.
It does suck. They should have offered both, honestly.
Yeah, I kind of get why they don't, because if you're gonna invest the resources, just invest on the one that you consider the definitive one.
Sure.
But it is one of those things that I still need to actually finish through myself. I know how everything happens in the game, but I never fully played through it. Because when I first played Persona 3, was the vanilla version, and coming off of the Persona 2 duology, that game was disgusting to me because I was not ready for the school life bullshit in that game, and I really hated it. Uh, Persona 5 honestly was the first one that really made me appreciate a lot of those elements. Because even 4, I didn't get 100% of the way through. I've started that game up so many times that I've never just got to the end. I like the characters, but I feel like 5 just, between the music, the characters, the gameplay, it all just finally coalesced into a perfect combination of everything. Where I feel like 3 was them testing the idea, and 4 was them starting to hit the stride with the idea. Um, but
See,
I
it's funny because I know it's a slow start with Persona 5, but it never feels like it to me just because like it's just so fun to watch play out. Even though you're not doing anything, it's just like I'm always just mesmerized, like the style, everything about it, the characters out the gate. Like I'm just so into it that it doesn't feel slow to me.
agreed. I am someone that has spent their entire life playing fucking 100-hour long fucking RPGs. Disgaea, Final Fantasy, fucking the Xeno series, what have you. I have played a lot and will continue to play a lot of super long, stupid RPGs. And never was there a game that went as briskly, I feel, as Persona 5 did,
Right.
considering its length. So, like that, I don't feel like there's such a massive time amount that passes for that game. And I feel like also because I one of the things I feel Persona 5 does do really well, especially Royal, is you never feel like you need to grind in that game.
No.
Certainly if you want like perfect min-max builds, yeah, you're going to be spending a bit of time collecting skill cards and spending time in the fusion lab and all of that. But otherwise than that, you basically never need to grind in that game. As long as you just don't avoid encounters and you fight whatever you come across, you're always basically at level for what you need to be facing off
Hmm.
against.
Um. Yeah. No. I think that's it. Is that once I finish the game, I want to play it again, but I had to talk myself and realize that it was 100 hours. It doesn't feel like 100 hours, but it was 100
Exactly.
hours, so that's why I can't. Um. All right.
But yeah, so almost at the end of the Mementos journey. So we'll be getting into the royal proper stuff here in a little bit. Otherwise than that, played through Crisis Core Reunion. I forgot how fucking padded that game is.
I wouldn't
I
know anything
fucking
about this.
Yeah, so Crisis Core is a deceptive game because the main story's 4 hours long, but
Okay.
there's about 40 hours worth of gameplay in it, and it's all in these stupid fucking side missions. And it makes sense for the time because when it came out, it was a PSP game.
Mm.
And the way it's presented to you is that as you play through the story and do certain things throughout the game, you unlock these missions that you can do, the side quests, essentially. But they're done in a very disjointed way where you basically go to a mission menu and you say, yeah, I'm going to do this mission. And then it's a completely separate experience from everything else in the game. So there's no like going to this area and doing these missions. It's like, okay, we're gonna load you into one of like 6 environments we've designed for these side missions to exist in, and there you go. Run to your mission objective, fight it, and then
I forget
you
PSP
win.
games are just very barren.
Yeah. So it's one of those games that initially I was gonna go for the platinum, and then as soon as I remembered how dumb and disjointed the missions were, I decided to not fucking worry about it. I think I'm at like 70% of the missions. I might go back and just get 5% more completed just for the extra trophy for it. But the actual story itself of Crisis Core takes like 4 hours to get through. It's a very easy game, especially now on the updated controls because it was originally released on the PSP. It was an action RPG on a console that didn't have a second analog stick to properly fucking look around with. It's fucking jank to play on PSP. Fucking plays like butter on PS5. Absolutely love the enhancements they added. Absolutely love the tweaked controls. It feels really good to play, but also because they have made it good to play, it is so much easier of a game too,
Right.
because the whole thing is balanced around a jank system on a jank platform.
Hmm.
So when you take away all the jank, once you understand the core concept of the game, which is materia fusion, um, so instead of like in 7 remake where you just go ahead, you find your materia, you level up like normal, in this the materia can level up. There's a system called the DMW system. Are you familiar with it?
No.
So Crisis Core has a really stupid mechanic called the DMW system. It's a slot machine that perpetually goes on in the background in combat, and just random shit happens all the time.
Hmm.
Just fucking all the time, random shit happens. Sometimes your materia levels up. Sometimes you get invincibility. Sometimes you get infinite MP. Sometimes you get a limit break. Sometimes fuck all happens and it just spins endlessly. That's the core mechanic of the game. Is there's a fucking roulette wheel perpetually spinning, and it's infuriating when you're trying to level up materia and stuff because it's all luck based. It's all RNG based. Instead of actually getting XP for your materia and leveling it up that way, I don't know, just fucking wait till it happens on the wheel.
Hmm.
You can legitimately sit there for like a good solid 2 hours in one battle having Regan on you, so you're just always healing yourself and enemies swinging away, not able to do anything against you, and still waiting for your materia to level up two
So
hours later.
I didn't realize this. How many Final Fantasy 7 games are there?
For Crisis, 7, Crisis Core, Dirge of Cerberus, then soon there will be Ever Crisis, and then Remake Part 1, Part 2, Part 3. So yeah, there's 8-ish Final Fantasy 7 games.
And which and these all tell stories of proper Final Fantasy 7, or these are like world of Final Fantasy 7 stuff? You know what I mean? Like,
Yes, it's all part of the exact flowing narrative.
so you need to play everything to get the full story.
Yes.
Hmm.
Before Crisis, you'll never be able to experience because it was a fucking cell phone game that they never did anything with. Ever Crisis will probably at least be the closest we'll ever get to like properly filling that story back in. Oh, and First Soldier, which is closing down soon. So also now you won't have the little story bits that are in First Soldier
Hmm.
because imagine that battle royale on fucking phones not working out.
Yeah, you'd be surprised how well they work out. It was Final Fantasy.
Fair. I mean, again, stupid
Pub
idea for a fucking Final Fantasy 7 game,
PUBG
but
and Apex on mobile are apparently fucking huge.
that's fair. I do forget how much people do like playing on phones.
I
The
forget
meme
that until I
aside.
see my students constantly playing on them, and then I even have like there's like random people I talk to that don't play games. They'll just mention to me, they're like, "Oh, well, I don't really play games, but I like occasionally I'll play PUBG on mobile." I'm like, "What the fuck?"
All right, that's weird.
It's really weird. It's like not something I quite understand still.
But yeah, so in chronological order, it goes First Soldier. First Soldier explains the story of the creation of the soldier branch of Shinra Corp. Then Before Crisis kind of fills in the blanks of the Turks, of how Avalanche came to be, and a lot of other key organizations throughout Final Fantasy VII. Then Crisis Core, which is Zack's story. Then Final Fantasy VII. Then after Final Fantasy VII is
As
Dirge of or no, Advent Children. So the movie Advent Children. And then after that is Dirge of Cerberus.
that's the finale cap.
Yeah, Dirge of Cerberus is the last canonical entry of the franchise.
Okay, I just realized
Hmm.
FF7 remake is a reimagining of FF7. Is Crisis Core?
Well, it's a sequel.
Okay, is Crisis Core though still canonically connected? Like, did they technically not touch? You know what I'm saying?
They didn't touch it. Yes, it is. It is completely exactly the same story as the original, and it is 100% necessary for what's going to be happening next in the remakes.
But do you get why I'm where I'm at with this? Where it's like Crisis Core is the prequel to FF7.
Yeah.
But this is not the FF7, but Crisis Core is still the prequel to this FF7.
Yes.
Interesting. So
because literally that scene that is going on where at the end of spoilers.
Where at the end where I don't know who the fuck this guy is because I never played this one. Yeah.
Yeah. So spoilers. That whole scene that happens at the end of 7 Remake Part 1 when that character is Zack. When that character is kind of walking through and Cloud and Earth are like, oh, something's weird, and he's walking away from that battle, that is the end of Crisis Core.
Interesting.
That is literally the same cutscene transposed into that moment.
But this is a whole weird idea of what Final Fantasy VII. So it's going into time more, but that's still perfectly canon and relevant to this. That it's still interesting.
Because basically the way that they've kind of confirmed that 7 remake is gonna be is it's not a remake, it is a sequel.
FF7 remake is not a remake.
No, it is a sequel.
Because there was time stuff with FF7 to begin with?
No. It has been introduced with this one. So what's happening is that Aerith, Cloud, Sephiroth are the only 3 confirmed characters that know something is wrong timeline-wise. Aerith and Sephiroth 100% understand something's fucked. Something is different this time. Cloud has an inclination based on the scenes that kind of happen in this game. He's kind of clued in that this is not how things are supposed to be. And so 7 happened.
Is him at the beginning of 7 remake when he first meets Sephiroth in the first 2 seconds of the game? That's the ending of proper 7, technically, kind of, right? Like that's kind of where 7 original goes. It was fire and flames when you saw him, and I remember that's like an
no, that is a flash forward to something that happens as soon as you leave Midgar.
Okay, but so that was him getting a this is something thing.
Yeah, because without spoiling it, that scene with the kind of fires and everything that's going on is central to Cloud's backstory. And that is something that in the original 7, when you leave Midgar, everyone's like, hey, that's Sephiroth fucker. What's his deal? And so Cloud explains. And so that scene with the fire is Cloud explaining his story there.
No, if you got me because of how weird this is, cause I like weird shit, but like in a way that I want to be in the loop. Do I need to play these other FF7 games, or can I just play original and watch a video?
I'd say play original, and then original will give you the bullet points of what you need to know about this.
So, like, do I need to play that?
No.
Okay.
If you play original, that's all you... The whole point of Crisis Core was it completely fleshed out Zack.
But is it worth it? If I find it for $20 later?
Maybe. The only reason why I'm hesitant to say yes is because there's 2 other characters. So the whole setup of Crisis Core is you follow as Zack. And Zack is a very pivotal character to Final Fantasy VII's story. So before you even worry about Crisis Core, I do say play 7 original.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm
And
playing.
then, yeah. And then if you decide that you really want more of Zach's stories in particular, then it might be worth playing Crisis Core. The only reason why I say no is because there's two new characters that are introduced to the story. One is Angeal. Angeal is a really interesting character and gives a lot of really cool depth to the lore of the Buster Sword, Cloud Sword. So for that aspect, really cool. And also to see
Here, tell
Zach's
me the bad
journey.
one.
So there's this a character called Genesis. Genesis is played by a metal musician from Japan called Got. And it basically is Got uh reciting poetry the entire fucking game.
Hmm.
Uh Genesis and Geel and Sephiroth are like all buddy buddies in this time. And Genesis is batshit insane and just recites poetry constantly from his favorite poem. And every time he is on screen, I want to fucking gouge my ears out, and I fucking hate it. And he's just the most miserable addition to anything I have ever fucking seen. Um, so it's a mixed bag. I'd say it's honestly only worth going through Crisis Core if really you're like, I want to know more about Zach.
If I find it for like $20 and if it's not that long of a game, I'm not gonna mind probably.
Probably not. I'd honestly say it's probably just worth watching the cutscenes more than anything, though.
Sure.
But anyway, but aside from that, I would say that um, before Seven Remake Part Two, especially if you decide that you're going to play Rebirth, I think is the name of the next part.
I want to be
100%
on
make
this
sure you.
train with everyone going into 3 because I feel like I have a good inkling that gap between 2 and 3 is going to be where the internet goes wild for a little while because 2 is going to end with something fucking nuts.
Well, we long-term fans of Seven know what we're expecting to happen in Part Two.
What you're expecting is not going to be what you're expecting, which is what we're expecting.
Well, that's the thing is we're.
Do we
I'm
expect the twist to go the way it does, or do we expect the non-twist to happen, which is more predictable now?
I expect it to be a story of futility, and I will just leave it at that. I expect what's going to happen is we're going to get some characters that shouldn't be there suddenly there.
That's what I'm
More
saying.
characters will catch on.
I want to be on the
Man.
internet train when all this happens because I feel like it's gonna be chaotic. It's gonna be funny, and it's gonna be interesting going into 3. That's why I've been getting that idea with everything lately. I kind of want to be on that train.
All right. So I need to pee real quick. So I'm gonna say yes. Go ahead and play that ASAP and build that air while I pee.
All right. Well, David's got dead air. What's up with my cat? Say what's up, Juice. um, interesting. So I guess I'll talk about something that I've been doing. Uh, David, man, every time I say that fucking Marvel cabinet, I almost bought a Marvel. Or I almost bought another cabinet the other day. The Blitz cabinet was $200. I was this close to getting it, but I have like proper room for one more cabinet, and I want the Marvel cabinet. I'm probably gonna get David's word on that. He'll probably agree with me to get the Marvel cabinet. I don't see why he wouldn't. Literally doesn't give a shit about Blitz, so he'd 100% agree with me. But $200 for a cabinet like that with the stool, I was so close, so close, and I'm never gonna regret it. Whenever I get like a house, I'm like, could have had Blitz there, but so it goes. And then Terminator was $280 this morning. I'm like, fuck, I just wish I had a house already. Nice. Buy all this bullshit. I'm into this. I'm over the little collectibles. I don't give a shit about figures anymore. Give me these. All day. Here he is. Telling chat that it was yesterday or the day before. I forget where or what. The Blitz Arcade 1-Up cabinet was $200 with
Tempting.
stool.
Man, you know
I
what?
was
200 with the
this
stool.
close. This close. Like I was like ready to pull it. I saw 2 there. I was standing in front of it. I was like, I could just do it, but I got. Let me see. I'm gonna show my mess. I got enough room. I would move this cabinet to this wall, but I got enough room right there for one more. And I want it to be a fighting game cabinet, and I want Marvel. Like, that's just kind of where I'm at. I think Marvel is just the natural one that I've wanted.
Yeah.
And I think it just, that last spot needs to be a fighting game. I technically got a sports game there, you know? It's like,
I mean, honestly, at this point, I'd say because you can find them fairly cheap, just get like the Street Fighter cabinet and modify it.
no, I want that art. I know people don't like the
Fair.
art. I like it though. I don't know.
I like the Marvel 2 ones.
People
Art.
don't like it.
I dig it.
People have been modding Marvel 1, or they've been putting the Marvel 2 screen inside Marvel 1.
Huh.
But yeah, no, it's like at this point I just want the Marvel cabinet. I'll save up a little extra for that. Obviously, a lot more extra because it's over double more. But I was that close, because $200 for a fucking Blitz cabinet.
That is a good deal, and
That's some
especially
good
where
shit right
Blitz
there.
is one of those Blitz. Like I even non-sports fans like myself. I don't
Blitz
give a fuck
and
about
NBA
sports
Jam
games at
are
all.
the
But
Blitz and NBA Jam are the ones where you're like, cool,
yeah,
and like
everyone
NBA
can be in agreement
street
on that.
games too. But like,
I never got into the street ones that
but
much.
those two, so Blitz and Jam for sure. But
Yeah,
the street games not too far after that. But had to pass it up. That was the big one. That was the one where I'm like, all right, this is the show of resistance. If I'm gonna be able to do that or not. And sure enough, I walked away from it hurt. Cause I was almost like, fuck it, do I just buy it, hold on to it whenever I get a house, I just have it? Nah, I can't justify it.
one day.
One day. Do you play anything else, David?
Um, play anything else really?
You only went through 2 games.
I mean, I mentioned three because SWAT, Persona, and
Oh
then
right, I
Final
forgot.
Fantasy there. Um, yeah, that's about it. I haven't had a lot of mental fortitude for playing anything that what I have basically what I haven't already played before. So technically, Crisis Core and Persona. But
Sure.
yeah, that's really all I played lately.
Let's see. Been going through Fuser again. They're shutting that game down, so I decided to go through a little bit again.
Well,
It's a great game. Super fun to just casually fuck around with. Get the good mixes, but it doesn't have too much depth to it, but it's just a fun game to boot up. Been playing a little bit of Mario Rabbids. Excuse me. Playing a little Mario Rabbids. Fun game. It's more Mario Rabbids. Wouldn't make my list of stuff just yet, but I'm having a fun time with it. A lot more Marvel Snap still. Here's the thing, David. Here's the fun level at this point. I peaked right now at level 91. I got some bullshit cards that are 100% getting nerfed, but I'm at 91. I'm at 88 right now. I dropped a little bit, but I maxed out 91. Here's the game that the game turned into, David. It's a game of poker, which is you're calling people's bluffs on what the fuck they got. Is your bullshit more than their bullshit? Are y'all willing to double down, triple down, and get 8 cubes in? That's the game it's out right now, and that's the game I've been running. I'm like, I know I got some fucking cards that piss everyone off to the point where when they beat me, when I play my cards and they still beat me, I get spammed with emotes because you could tell they're just fucking pissed. And I have their one, but they're pissed. But that's the game it is right now, and that's the fun part now. Now I'm just like, it's a game of bullshit. It's like, all right, you want to double up? All right, let's double up. I got better cards. I
I
want to win.
I wanted to like the game. Just it takes one far too fucking long to get into anything decent, and two, even the amount of time I invested into it, I was fucking bored with the game design. It goes way too quick. There's not enough like, and again, I know eventually the more you spend into it, the more weird shit you get. But like, even once I was fucking at the towards the end of tier two, I was fucking bored with the cards I had. Like, there was no interesting, dynamic, cool things. Again, I know I'm coming from years of other more traditional TCGs, but like part of what I love about Magic the Gathering is there's literally hundreds of different deck types and dozens of different formats where I can do so many weird, bizarre, cool things. I mean, if we're talking like legacy or vintage, I can do turn zero wins with the weird, bizarre shit I can assemble in those formats. Or if you're
Here's the
talking
thing.
like EDH Commander, you know,
It
there's
is it is it's shallow, right? Um, Again, there's multiple types of decks you can. Like you're running some fucking weird destroy deck and you're popping up Hella and Null now. You're running move decks. You got the Flaming Torch in there, stuff like that. But it's just a theme and it's kind of adjusting that. But also like I just have so many different decks at this point. I kind of just flop between. But my deck right now, I literally just I taught my deck was win, and it's just so fun just fucking with people, dude. It's just so much fun just getting some chaos. And again, it's the dopamine rush for me. It's just like, all right, done. Let's do it again. Done. All right, because eventually your tech is gonna work, and if it works more, cool. But it's also a fun opposite end of like Yu-Gi-Oh, where it's like, holy shit, this game is taking 90 hours to read a fucking card. I was watching Moist Critical go through someone's Yu-Gi-Oh retrospective. I think it was I forget who, but the average number of words in a Yu-Gi-Oh card went from 19 to 75.
yeah, no, Yu-Gi-Oh got fucking ridiculous quick.
It's
Ever
actually
since
ridiculous.
the synchro shit, that game, that's when I quit Yu-Gi-Oh, was when they started introducing the synchro shit. But and I get it. And you know, a lot of different card games have their strengths and weaknesses for different aspects. Magic can be a very oppressive game to get into, one because it has a lot of different formats. There's not just simply learning Magic, there's learning Standard, EDH, there's two-headed giants, Legacy, Vintage, Pauper, so many different formats and styles, and then they all come with their own weird rules and caveats, some that are universal, some that are not. Pokemon has gone through so many weird revisions over the years where people run now, and I think in modern Pokemon, you only run like two or three Pokemon, and then that's your entire deck is all just
It's such
trainer
all the
cards from
card games is
there.
just a
And
weird metamorphosis of stuff. But I've
yeah,
also been
but
delving into like the idea. I kind of want to play Master Duel a little bit just to mess around.
tell you, man, if you ever are curious, will download Cockatrice. You'll have access to all the cards completely for free, and I will teach you some fun of
Let me think
Magic.
about it. After maybe in the summer.
All right,
Filled in
because
there for like 1 minute.
all right. So I guess while you're disappearing, let me explain why Magic is always my go-to. Because I have played competitive TCGs since Yu-Gi-Oh was my first game that I played competitively. Of course, as most people our age, I started with Pokemon. That was the one that got me started. But in terms of competitive, Yu-Gi-Oh was my first introduction to that. Um, but after Yu-Gi-Oh was Magic the Gathering for me, and I love the creativity. I love the different deck metas and different designs and so many hilarious, bizarre concepts you can do and the different formats. Like I mentioned, there's a deck in Vintage and Legacy where you can learn turn zero, and it requires just the weirdest bullshit to even have happen. It's called Flash Hulk. It's a fun fucking deck. Uh, but it only works in like one particular scenario. And there's just so many weird, bizarre, cool shit you can do with that. Like my favorite deck type in Magic the Gathering in particular is I like playing middle control. So control in Magic and most card games that have a function of it is very much about, as it sounds like, you're controlling the board, controlling the opponent, etc. Mill in particular is about removing the opponent's deck straight to the graveyard. Uh, so I basically like playing a style of Magic where I don't let my opponent play the game. My entire strategy revolves around taking my opponent's deck and throwing it at the wall
Well,
and
yeah,
saying
I
you
think
don't
that
get to
that works
play.
for a lot of cards. I know that's literally the essence of Yu-Gi-Oh right now, which is what does not let you play.
Yeah. And I love that for Magic. But I mean, even the more aggro kind of style metas and different setups you can do. I love enchantment decks for Magic. I love, as weirdlessly mindless as it can be, a red deck wins is a lot of fun. You basically just playing mono red, playing the fastest cards in the game, and just hopefully you kill the opponent before they do anything, and if not, well, it's just going to be a lot of you drawing your top card and playing it and then hoping for the best. There's a lot of really bizarre dumb shit you can do in Magic. But it's not my favorite, which is the other weird part. Honestly, out of all the TCGs I have played over the years, Force of Will is probably my favorite because Magic still suffers from the one thing that kills a lot of resource format games, which I feel like is the one advantage that Marvel Snap and Hearthstone have is they're not a resource dependent game because you can get resource screwed where you just don't have the cards that you draw in order to cast what's in your hand. But Force of Will has a really fun mechanic to balance concepts like that, while still retaining a lot of different elements of MTG that I enjoy. But
Fair.
yeah, you're back anyways.
Let
Magic
me
Gathering, fantastic game.
we have a comment, and then let's just run through some news and wrap this thing up.
Yeah.
Hey, Adrian, in the absence of gore, what's the most core impression you can do? All right, let's see. I'm terrible at impressions. Let's see. Well, you gotta make a funny face first, like because he's looking at some. There's gonna be some meme reaction. So it's something lewd. So he's like looking at that, and then it cuts, and then he's "Hey, what's up, everybody? Here, Good Movie Guy here with another reaction video for today. And this time we're gonna look at another video from Small Cat. It's memes that can't do. Memes that can't. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really not trying to fuck with you. I just can't read this right now. All right, hold on. Memes that you can't laugh if you die. I don't know. I'm tired. You know, I just woke up. It's 5 p.m. in the afternoon. I just woke up right now. You know, I have a little bit of a headache. I just haven't eaten in a couple of days. So bear with me. I'm kind of in a bad attitude, but yeah. So I guess we'll watch this. Link in description. Not that it matters. You guys fucking know about them more than me. Anyway, you guys don't fucking watch me anyway. So fucking no one's watching this point anyway. So fuck it. Let's just go. All right. 3, 2, 1. All right. There you go.
All right. And then one of the
Yeah, I
more
love what he does.
recording kind of
Yeah.
videos he does, he'll get the hoodie on, get the strings going for it. Then he
Mackie,
does
I love
the-
what he says. He's tired. 3 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah. All right. Anime titties. All right. It's your boy Gore here. We're gonna go ahead and watch this this very lewd video here. So also shout outs to my boy David. That limp dick fuck gave me this hoodie. Let's go ahead and get this started.
There you go. Miss you, Gore.
Oh no,
You better be out there buying us gifts. He's not. All right. New stuff. Nothing came out. The only thing that was interesting, David, I don't even saw that the whole obviously Microsoft thing with Activision, but
yeah,
they mentioned
that was
specifically.
one of the things I wanted to touch on quick.
They mentioned specifically that the did Gore ever give you guys gift style boxes? No. But to be fair to
No, we
Gore,
just
that's
give it to
literally
him
just
because why not?
we're sending him our trash, so it's fine.
You sent him trash. I sent him good shit.
It's trash. If you're
I
not sending him
gave him a
trash, you're not doing it
Genesis.
right. You got to put a couple receipts in there. You got to put some trash. Literally, all I do is I have a box in the corner of my room. I just toss stuff in there throughout the months or years. I see something, I'm like, I don't want this, and I'll just toss it in there. And then that's nice little Gore goodie. Let's see.
Hook the man up with anime, with games.
He doesn't deserve it. You got one in the making right now, of course. I always have. There's always a Gore box in the making here. Microsoft mentioned that Final Fantasy 16, 7 Remake, Bloodborne, and then Silent Hill 2 are just not allowed in Xbox, which is interesting because Silent Hill 2 says specifically it had a 1-year agreement, but it's funny just seeing them scramble. I guess I mean it'd be nice to have everyone open, but it's kind of funny just seeing how desperate Sony is.
It's kind of weird because there's so many EU tried to kind of block it for a short stint and that got resolved. But it's kind of weird to see these regulatory bodies trying to ascertain what impact this could have in the market when it's clear none of these organizations even really understand the gaming landscape.
No.
It's kind of like seeing them, regulate shit with the internet when they don't understand it. It's like, yeah, would Call of Duty not being on fucking other consoles be a blow? Yeah, on some level it would, but like, let's fucking be realistic. Microsoft is not going to not just let it, especially where they already said, "Hey, Nintendo, well, let's give you some Call of Duty here in a second." And it's come out that they were willing to do at least a 10-year fucking deal to be like, "Yeah, we guarantee at least for 10 years you'll fucking have it for Sony."
And
And that
that
was not good enough.
people want to say that that means oh, up to 10 years is not, but also you just don't make indefinite contracts.
No, you don't. Also, I think what's more revealing about that is that I think that's probably when they're projecting for the next gen systems to be at that point.
Perhaps.
Um,
Um,
but it's I don't know, it's fucking dumb. Them getting Activision Blizzard is not some big fucking monopoly. Is it a lot of the more household recognized AAA names? Sure. You have one of the world's largest MMOs in World of Warcraft. You have the most casually fucking known shooter of all time, Call of Duty. You have Candy Crush, doesn't literally get any more fucking
but that's like
casual and
saying like,
household than that.
oh, no one would live without Mario, but Mario's doesn't kill anything else. It's fine.
Yeah. But
That's funny.
that's kind of like the weird point is like, oh no, Crash Bandicoot will be owned by Microsoft now in a weird twist of fate. But
Yeah,
like,
doesn't matter. Um, that's all I had, David. Whatever you got, go for it, and then we'll wrap.
all right. So yeah, so that was one of the things I did want to bring up. I think it's fucking dumb. I look forward to this deal just being over, so that way Microsoft can start fucking cleaning house and start writing these ships to some degree. I still refuse to play anything Activision Blizzard at this time.
Are you playing Overwatch 2 with us when Nick closes deal?
No, absolutely not.
Fuck.
I will start playing Activision Blizzard stuff again at least a couple years after they own it to see how things have turned out.
Okay,
But
so you're playing Overwatch 2 with us 2024. Lock it in.
maybe 2025,
I'll deal with fall 2024.
winter 2025, maybe
Drive a hard
summer.
bargain. Let's just do December.
All right, December
All right,
2025.
locked it in.
But yeah, so that's kind of my thoughts on that. Another kind of quick thing, a weird thing. So Shin Megami Tensei's 30th anniversary is next year. We already have a lot of interesting things kind of being talked about for it. One of the things they've decided to do, which is really cool, but really confusing at the same time, is they're re-releasing a collection of the Shin Megami Tensei trading cards game.
Mm-hmm.
They're selling it on the US store as well, but they're not translating any of it.
Not that you care. You're gonna buy it anyway, right?
I am gonna buy it anyways. It's $150 for a complete set of one of the sets of cards. They're updating a lot of the art. They're adding foils to it, and they're adding in like 30 some odd new cards specifically for Shin Megami Tensei 5. But it's just weird that they would go ahead and sell basically a remastered set of one of the blocks of the Shin Megami Tensei trading card game, sell it in the US, but they just fucking deal with the Japanese. You're never going to know how to play
Is it
this
weird
game.
because you're buying it?
I mean, I'm buying it because I'm obsessive, and
The ones that are gonna buy it are the ones that be
manage my
obsessive.
money.
I feel like there's
Yeah.
no one that's on the edge of like, nah, they're not translating. I'm not gonna buy it. The ones buying that are the hardcore that are like, fuck it, whatever.
Fair, and I guess maybe that's the whole thing is they're relying on there being that hardcore of a base. It is
Mhm.
a nice kind of set that they're doing with it because they are giving a kind of cool collector's edition box for it, a dedicated pre-numbered card sleeve binder for it, so everything will fit nicely in that kind of binder. So it's got to be like one nice little collector set. It's $150 for all of it. I'm excited for it. That reminds me of another thing that we'll talk about next real quick. That's I fucking hate, which is the opposite side of that.
Go for
But
it.
yeah, no, really neat thing. On the opposite side, a really neat thing. So, in celebration of Final Fantasy's 30th anniversary, they fucking shadow dropped a Pixel Remaster physical version. So Final Fantasies
I heard
1
about
through
that.
6 got they've had the Pixel remasters where they're
Right.
the original versions of the games, completely remastered graphics, remastered audio, full orchestral
Limited.
scores. Uh they not only shadow dropped the physical versions, they were very limited prints. I think it's estimated like
Extremely
about a
limited, they said, or
thousand.
something like that.
Yeah, I think it was like 1,000 copies.
Oh,
So
wow.
less than what you'd even see on limited run kind of shit. That's it.
That's
that's
it.
all we'll ever get. Just open up at 3 o'clock in the morning. Here you go, assholes.
Yeah,
Here's
you weren't
your
awake. Real fans were
releases.
awake at that time.
I was not awake. Also, $75 plus $25 shipping. So $100 for the base version.
Guess what? They sold out though, huh?
They did
They
sell
don't give a
out.
shit.
Absolutely fucking disgusting and ridiculous. I have been wanting one console releases for those games for a while now, and two a physical version, and it's fucking bizarre to me that Square Enix wouldn't just want to print even more money and just make even more physicals of that. But nah, let's shadow drop a goddamn limited run of these. Here you go, assholes. Have fun. Fuck off. I
Now,
swear, Square Enix weirdly hates making money sometimes.
I don't know. It's a weird thing with everything. Sometimes there's like, I don't know why you don't make more. These things obviously sold out, so fuck it, just do it. But well,
Uh, two more quick things here. Unless you have another
no,
thought on that or something else you want to go into. The Nier Automata anime is confirmed to be streaming on Crunchyroll when it comes out in January,
I'm in.
and it will have a dub.
Okay, I'm in. I'm in.
I'm down for that. I'm very excited. Good to see it coming along. Also,
Are
sucks off
those
to.
dropped all at once, or are they gonna be weekly?
I think it'll be weekly.
Okay.
So yeah, they still don't specify when in January, but just January 2023.
All right, let's do it.
A lot of shit coming out in January. Goddamn.
There is.
Last thing I wanted to go on to real quick. We talk about tabletop stuff here occasionally on the podcast, mostly because of really just me. But I wanted to bring this up because this is a important thing if you are a D&D tabletop person. So Wizards of the Coast not content to burn down Magic the Gathering and over fucking sell a lot of dumb shit for Magic the Gathering right now, have decided they need to start burning down D&D as well. They're doing what's called one D&D instead of doing like a sixth edition of D&D. They're taking fifth edition and doing a supercut of it, so like a 5.5, but calling it one D&D, so it can all be just a super simplified version of what's already a super simplified version of D&D.
Hmm.
And one of the big things they're doing with it is they're kind of gutting what's referred to as the open game license. So ever since third edition D&D, so for the past 25 some odd years, the way D&D has worked is that they release a core set of rules called the open game license, where you can use those rules and you can do whatever you want. You can make your own D&D products, you can spin it off into your own tabletop game. That's how we got Pathfinder. Literally D&D's biggest competitor, Pathfinder, started because people were pissed with 3.5 and were like, fuck you, we're making our own system based on your system. And that's how we got Pathfinder. And with 1D&D, they're heavily restraining and restricting a lot of that to the point where they're outright removing a lot of the free elements of the OGL and are making it so that if you sell anything, you will also have to, at a certain point, start paying back royalties to them, which I think is fucking wild and disgusting and shows that they really have not learned any lessons from their competitor in Pathfinder. Pathfinder, while Pathfinder 1 is not a system I like at all because even I wasn't really a fan of third edition and 3.5 D&D, and Pathfinder is still just more of that, just with a different flavor. Um, Pathfinder Second Edition, I have enjoyed from what little I've looked into it. But one of the things that Pathfinder has done to be successful, and I think is really revolutionary for tabletop games, is when they release material after 1 year, it's free.
Hmm.
You have the first year of the product's lifespan, go ahead, buy it, support the creators. After that, all the material is completely free. Have at it. We don't care anymore. And it's fucking wild how successful and popular Pathfinder has been off that model because it's such a dynamic way. Because one of the biggest barriers to entry when it comes to tabletop games is the cost of it. If you want to go ahead and play, fucking D&D or Shadowrun or any other tabletop RPG, you got to at least buy the core rule book, and then depending what system you're talking about, there's a dedicated, running the game book, a dedicated book for just items, dedicated book for monsters, etc. There's so many things, and especially where they've already pledged that with one D&D, they want to have like on average like I think it was like 25 to 30 material they release per year for the edition. So even if they reduce the product down to 20, 30 bucks, which usually they're 40, 50 bucks at release per book, but even if you want to say, all right, 30 bucks per year at $30, literally hundreds of dollars just to even get into it. Whereas Pathfinder's like, I mean, you could buy it and support us or just wait and it's free. Everyone fucking can just glide on board, enjoy, experience the game, and then give back to them through other means later on down the road.
Sure.
And it's fucking wild to me that they're going the really dumb, just money, the short-sighted money grab way of let's relock this down, let's remake it so that way people have to pay us money. I fully expect, and there even was a community poll to be like, well, how much of like third-party stuff do people even actually use? And out of the thousands upon thousands of people that voted on the poll, only like 1%, so like maybe a few dozen people said, I don't use any third-party material at all. Like that's fucking wild that they would potentially burn a bridge against literally hundreds of thousands of customers just because they're like, well, maybe we can make a little bit more money if we do this.
If it's
Fucking
the
wild
rationale
to
or
me.
no?
That is the rationale. Is during their so to explain the absurdity context real quick. So Magic the Gathering had their 30th anniversary. A lot of 30s happening this year and next year.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things they did for Magic's 30th anniversary was they did a re-release of Alpha Beta cards, but they did them as proxy cards. So it was $1,000 to buy a box of cards.
Yeah,
Of
you told us
four
about this.
packs.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they did that. That bombed so bad that they had to close down sales of it preemptively just because no one was buying it. So after a half hour of no one buying the product, they just stopped selling it. And it's been estimated that there's probably like 30,000 some odd units that they have on hand. 90% of what is in the market now of that product is because they literally gave it away to game stores. They couldn't sell it, so they just gave it away. So now there's like this no one knows what the value of any of the shit should be because none of the product was actually bought.
Hmm.
So it's created this weird dichotomy. And during the response to it was so bad. They had basically a fireside chat with the community. And they basically did a lot to continue to piss off the community. Or like, I mean, we're just gonna keep releasing a lot of products, maybe about 70 sets a year or so. You don't need to buy all of it. Just if you don't like it, don't buy it. You don't have to buy any of it. And then they also confirmed that they have zero intentions of slowing down on it. That they want to create more opportunities for people to buy things, and also said, we're not doing enough with D&D. We want to do a lot of this same stuff with D&D. We're leaving too much money. Literally, outright say we're leaving too much money on the table by not doing a lot more of this with D&D as well. So Papa Hasbro is now going ahead and trying to do the hyper monetization of D&D that they've been trying to pull in Magic. And that's what's behind it, because the whole push with one D&D is to also go into virtual tabletop. People have been using virtual tabletops like Roll20 and stuff for
Sure.
years. Wizards bought out another company to have their own official one, and they have now just started rolling out loot boxes for it, so you can roll for cosmetic items for it. They're trying to do everything they can to make more money off it, and that's part of what they want to do is release even more products and make it so that way, hey, all of these people that are making money off of this open license we've had for the past 25 some odd years need to start giving back to us now and start going ahead and making sure we get a cut of
Weird.
it and stop allowing people to have so much free content of ours. And it's absolutely disgusting and does not understand at all what has become the modern landscape of tabletop RPGs.
Bummer ending.
So yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I wish I knew about half that stuff you talked about just now, but I understand the gist of it, which is market's weird. They're trying to recoup, but they're doing it weirdly. So that shit sucks. But I guess we'll see in a few weeks if that steadies out at all.
I mean, the simplest way to explain it would be like if EA was like, FIFA makes us the most amount of money. Why stop at a yearly release? Why don't we have a monthly release? And it'd be the equivalent of that.
And that sucks. All right. On that. If we play Ready or Not, let me know and I'll stream it.
Yeah. Let me see when everyone is potentially available because Will and Nat have been really wanting to play some more since the last update, and definitely more people we can get for a full group for that, always the better. So yeah, as soon as I know what's going on with their plans, I'll shoot you a message, let you know. Obviously won't be available Christmas Day, but anytime after that, for next week, I should probably be free.
Sure. All right, and then I'll stream at some point this next week for sure. All right, we're gonna dip out. Recipes, Gore.
Hell yeah, pepperoni and cheese. I knew ye well.
All right.